2 structures were damaged. 305 personnel are assigned to that incident. Sunset Fire, halted, and I want to focus on that word, halted and stopped at 42 acres, 100% contained due to the due diligence of our first responders that are out there doing their work. Currently in a mop-up and patrol status and no active threat to the public. Now looking forward, over the next few days and into the next week, we will be facing another critical weather event. I want to assure the residents within our incredible city of Los Angeles that Mayor Bass, Chief McDonald, and I are in lockstep together, and that we will utilize every single resource at our disposal to ensure public safety and that we holistically protect Angelenos. Thank you, everyone. And next, I have the honor to introduce Police Chief McDonald.
Thank you, Chief, very much. As we navigate this challenging time, our primary focus remains the safety and security of our community. We're committed to protecting lives, safeguarding property, and maintaining order in the areas affected by the fires. Determining the cause of these fires is critical, and to that end, Mayor Bass, Chief Crowley, and I are announcing, in conjunction with our partner agencies, the creation of the Los Angeles Regional Wildfire Investigative Task Force. This task force is made up of local, state, and federal partners designed to investigate the cause of these fires and to see if there's any connection between them. The task force will be made up of, or is made up of, investigators from the Bureau of Alcohol, Tobacco, Firearms, and Explosives, CAL FIRE, the Los Angeles Fire Department Arson Counterterrorism Section, Los Angeles County Fire Department Arson, Los Angeles Police Department Major Crimes Division, and the Los Angeles Sheriff's Department Arson and Explosives. Just announced this morning, or decided this morning, that the ATF will take over as lead agency on that. They have tremendous resources and expertise and can bring in resources from across the country to do their investigation. So we're very thankful for them and their resources. The LAPD remains on tactical alert, and we have dedicated resources to ensure the safety of our law enforcement and city, state, and federal public safety partners. LAPD officers are actively patrolling these areas around the clock. These efforts include enhanced visibility in evacuation zones and neighborhoods where homes and businesses are vacant. We're deploying marked and unmarked vehicles as well as foot patrols to ensure a strong presence and swift response to any issues that arise. LAPD currently has over 600 officers deployed to these areas, with support from Port Police, who've provided personnel, and the National Guard, who've provided 40 personnel at various posts throughout the Palisades, and we're truly grateful for their support also. We've continued to respond to radio calls with reports of looting, although I'm happy to share that so far none have been substantiated in that fashion. Let me be clear on this, and the mayor just talked about it. We do have a zero-tolerance policy for anybody attempting to exploit this crisis. Looting and other illegal activities will not be tolerated, and we've taken significant steps to prevent such behavior. Additional patrols are actively monitoring evacuated areas, and we've implemented a system of surveillance and rapid response. LAPD is enforcing a curfew in Los Angeles City areas where mandatory evacuations are still in place. The curfew will run from 6 p.m. to 6 a.m. Last night we arrested a total of 5 people for crimes involving curfew violation in the Palisades burn area. I want to remind everybody that unless you are public safety personnel or another type of disaster worker, you have no reason to be at these locations, and if we see you in those areas, you will be subject to arrest. Any person who refuses or willfully neglects to obey the curfew order in effect in any evacuation order zone or evacuation warning zone within the city of Los Angeles will be physically booked for a violation of California Government Code Section 8665. A violation of curfew order is a misdemeanor punishable by a fine and potentially imprisonment for up to 6 months, or both. The countywide curfew order is enforceable in the city of Los Angeles by LAPD officers. Enforcing a curfew is an important tool that will help keep the burn areas and evacuated property secure, keeping looters out. This effort also helps protect public safety personnel who are operating in darkness and in very difficult circumstances. I want to reassure everybody that your safety and security of your property remains our top priority. We understand the stress and uncertainty you are feeling, and we're doing everything in our power to protect what matters to you. I urge you to continue following safety guidelines issued by our emergency management partners and abide by any security checks and screenings. These measures are in place to protect lives and to allow first responders to do their jobs more effectively. In closing, I want to thank our officers who continue to work extended hours in a challenging environment, the National Guard, and all of our partners, particularly our fire partners, for their tireless efforts in responding to this crisis. I also want to express my gratitude to our community for your resilience and your cooperation. We will continue to provide updates as the situation develops and remain steadfast in our mission to protect and serve. Thank you, and please stay safe. Now my honor to introduce FEMA Regional Administrator Bob Fenton.
Thank you, Chief.
Thanks, Bob.
Yep. Thanks. Well, let me start out by saying our hearts go out to everyone affected by the wildfires. And as our administrator yesterday said, we're committed to be here to help the community recover as long as it takes. One of the things that's important to us is having a strong relationship with not only the mayor, all communities in the state, in delivering assistance to those communities that have been affected, and we'll continue to make sure that we're here to do that. In addition to providing support on the response side, one of the areas that we're focusing now on our priority is to help those that have been affected by this event. And one of the ways we do that is through our individual assistance program. I want to start off with how to apply to that program. So the easiest way is to go to the website to disasterassistance.gov and apply there. You can also download the FEMA app and use that to apply. Or you can phone our 1-800-621-3362 number to apply for assistance. We've already had over 16,000 applications as of this morning, and we'll continue to take registrations into our system, and we'll be probably reaching out to many of those individuals. Those who have that are insured, I urge you to go ahead and call your insurance company first, as you'll need that information through the registration process with FEMA as you go through that application process. One of the positive things that have happened in some of the changes of our legislation is we can help those that are underinsured, which I suspect will be a significant need here from these fires. FEMA is starting to expedite serious needs assistance. It's a one-time payment that helps survivors with costs associated to disaster-related needs, such as whether it's water, food, infant formula, things you had to purchase as you evacuated, and that's a one-time payment. Other forms of assistance include displacement assistance to help with hotel costs, minimal repairs to your house, other needs assistance, costs for if you have medical bills from this event, the unfortunate funeral costs that will come for some. If you lost your car in this event, you could go ahead and put that in for assistance from FEMA. And then ultimately, as we've seen the great devastation and loss of housing, temporary housing, whether it be through our rental assistance programs or other forms of temporary housing, that we'll work with the city, the county on how to provide those in the best way that meets the needs of the community here. So I'm working closely with the state and county and the city to ensure that we bring not only the full weight of the federal government, but working with community partners to make sure that we bring the resources that are needed to help recover. We are sending staff out to the field to help individuals register for our program. We'll start with going to the shelters and some of the other places, and we'll expand out and help individuals that need help registering. However, I urge you to go to the three locations I gave you, register online or register through the 1-800 number, as it's better to register before coming in and asking for extra technical assistance. Ultimately, we will work with the county and the city to set up local assistance centers where we'll have in-processing centers to help with your application. Lastly, I just want to continue to reiterate, we are here for the long term. We're here to financially support the response costs and to help individuals recover from the fire, and have the full weight of the federal government behind me to support any needs that the state or the county or the city have in response to these fires. Thank you.
Next is SBA District Director Julie Quellis.
Thank you, Mayor Bass. Thank you to all of our government officials, FEMA, and especially our first responders. Thank you so much for everything you are doing for the community. For those that are affected by these fires, my heart is with you. My team and I live here. We know what the challenges are ahead, and we're here to help you through that recovery process. SBA's disaster loan programs are open. They've been fully activated, and they are open, and people can apply today. The applications are available for homeowners, for renters, for businesses of all sizes, and for private nonprofits here in LA County. A quick overview of the programs for you. The Disaster Home Loan Program is loans to renters or homeowners to repair or replace disaster damaged real estate and personal property, and this includes automobiles. Loan maximums are $500,000 for real estate and $100,000 for personal property, and this is for uninsured or otherwise non-compensated losses. Business physical disaster loans are also available for businesses of all sizes to repair or replace their disaster damaged property, including the real estate, inventory, supplies, machinery, and equipment. Businesses of all sizes and nonprofit organizations are eligible to apply, and the loan maximums are $2 million. Economic injury disaster loans are available to small businesses and nonprofits as a way to provide working capital to help them meet their ordinary and necessary obligations that otherwise could have been met but for this fire. Loan maximums for this program are $2 million. Interest rates are extremely low, under 4%, and in some cases 2.56% for homeowners and renters. We have a 12-month deferment on interest and payments, and we are in the process of setting up some centers, but everyone is absolutely eligible to apply online today. SBA.gov/disaster will take you right to the info page and application. Also SBA.gov, we have banners on our homepage to direct you right to these resources as well. And you may also reach out through our customer assistance line at email box, at disaster customer service at SBA.gov. Again, disaster customer service at SBA.gov. And we also have our cadre of business advisors through small business development centers, women business centers, veteran business outreach centers, and SCORE, who are all over the county with free business assistance ready to support any business concerns you may have, from recovery and rebuilding to applying for any of the assistance we talked about today. Thank you.
Lynette? Who is Lynette? Oh, there you are. Yes. Well, you know what? I think that the people in Palisades and in most of the areas have been doing everything they can. They've been responding to the evacuation orders. I think that is critical that they do that. We know that those people who stay behind might not be able to get out. And I think that it's important that people pay attention to that. The good news is that the fires have been slowly being contained. I know that the Palisades area is one of the ones that is the most vulnerable for the winds to continue to spike up. And it's anticipated that the winds will kick up again at the beginning of the week. So having National Guard there, having law enforcement there is going to be very critical, because not only do we have to protect ourselves from the fires, but we also have to make sure that no one goes up there and attempts to loot, attempts to do anything that is inappropriate in the areas. Well, they need to pay attention to what the orders are. You know, in some of the areas they've been told to evacuate. I know that west of the 405, people are supposed to evacuate. I know east of the 405, it's a warning. So I think people need to pay careful attention to what the instructions are. And please, please, please not try to wait out the fires. Oh, my goodness. Let me just say that, as you see here, the chief and I are lockstep in our #1 mission. And that mission is to get us past this emergency right now. We want to make sure that we save lives, we save housing, we save businesses, and if there are differences that we have, we will continue to deal with those in private. Thank you. No. First of all, I have no idea as to what he means when he says he's getting different answers from different people. But I have to tell you, I have a lot of concerns about every step of what has happened over the last week. Again, we have to stay focused on the #1 mission, which is getting through this crisis, keeping people safe. Examining what happened, I want a full investigation of every level. So I'll follow up with the governor to find out exactly what he means, but I do not know.
Yeah, this question is directed at both you, Madam Mayor, and Fire Chief Crowley. The dynamic between you two today appears very different than
Come stand. Thank you. Yes.
say that you're in lockstep.
Yes.
How can Angelenos be sure that you two are on the same page when everyone's facing this historic and unprecedented crisis?
Well, I think, first of all, you have heard it directly from me. I'll give her an opportunity to repeat it again, that we have one mission, and that is going to be our sole focus. Now, prior to this, the chief and I have always been in regular communication, and we will continue to do that. Chief.
Thank you for that. I stand by my comments this morning, especially in this time of crisis. That #1 priority, with actually Chief McDonald, Madam Mayor, and myself, are all on the same page. And I don't know how to overstate that at this point. That's why we're all here today, is to make sure that the community, the people that we serve, understand exactly where the three of us are. And I think in fact, I know we've clearly articulated that this morning. So thank you for the question.
Just one follow-up quickly. Are there enough resources for the city to answer the demands of this?
Well, let me just say that not only are there the resources and unlimited resources that the fire department, the police department need right now. We're not going to sit around and look at what we're going to spend on or not. If Chief McDonald calls me and tells me this is what he needs, if Chief Crowley calls me and tells me this is what we need, then that's what we'll do. But let me just also say that it's beyond Los Angeles. So the mutual aid component, I'm getting phone calls from all over the country, from people I served with in Congress who have now moved on to be governors. With it, we have a number of different states, even Canada called. But that is what happens in natural disasters. I know the chief and I think it was just a couple of months ago, we had a number of firefighters go around the country. Firefighters go around the country all the time to assist in natural disasters, and that's exactly what is happening. Now, let me add on to that to say that President Biden, Vice President Harris, the state leaders, and obviously the governor, but also the head of the state Senate, the head of the state assembly, they have all been calling us off the hook. I did a press conference yesterday, a Zoom press conference, the governor and I did, with the president and the vice president, for the president to reiterate over and over again. The fact that we're getting 100% reimbursement from FEMA is not something that is usual. but it is something that the president agreed to. So I feel confident that whatever support is needed, we will have. I have not heard from the incoming administration. However, I have reached out to some of my Republican colleagues. It is helpful that I served with many people who now will be going through confirmation, so I'm in touch with my colleagues.
Mayor, you mentioned Canada, but you also have resources coming in from around the world. We heard a group of firefighters coming in from Mexico on route.
Great, great. I received a message from the mayor of Paris, who I got to know, obviously, last summer, extending her concern and condolences. So yes, Mexico, Canada, all of North America coming together to deal with a natural disaster in this area that we have never seen before.
Madam Mayor, in the days leading up to Tuesday's tragedy, it was being described as potentially catastrophic and life-threatening event. Our history, as you know, tells us that there are certain parts of the city that are more susceptible to the ravages of fire than others. The Palisades being one of them.
Mm-hmm.
We learned that by midday Wednesday, the 3 1-million-gallon tanks that store water in the Palisades area have been overwhelmed by the massive size of this fire that we had. My question is looking at preemption, were there any efforts made to bring in water tankers to stage them around the Palisades and other areas that have lots of foliage that have historically been fire hotspots? And piggybacking off of that, the mutual aid we're now getting from around the state and from around the nation, were there any efforts to preemptively bring in mutual aid for the worst case scenario, which has proven to be true? And if it hadn't, we all wish it had happened. If it hadn't happened, say thank you and we'll help you out down the road and pay for it.
You know, it's my understanding that that's not the way mutual aid works. But again, there is a long list of issues that need to be examined, dissected, investigated, evaluated. And if there are people who need to be held accountable, they will be. Thank you.
One quick follow-up. We now have the National Guard.
Yes.
Another question about preemption. Were there any efforts to mobilize the National Guard preemptively just as an apparatus to be able to do massive evacuations?
Again, it's my understanding that that is not the way it works. When I spoke to the governor on Wednesday, it was beginning that process. But because in an event like this, you don't exactly know what's going to happen, but you don't mobilize 1,000 National Guard or 200 National Guard just in case.
Can I respectfully ask why not? Is it better to have them somewhere staged in a military base, wherever, in case we need them, or have them covered 48 hours after?
Well, I can certainly share my experience at UCLA when we were having all the protests there. And the idea that we would have 200 police officers that were waiting around to go to a protest in UCLA, that's just not the way you mobilize troops. People are coming from all over the place. Well, you're talking 20, 30 years ago. I can't respond to that. Chief, would you?
Yeah. I mean, this is an unpredictable event. You have predictable wind coming. You don't know how the extent of that wind. You can't predict you're going to have a fire, and certainly nothing to this scale. Something like you mentioned the O.J. Simpson case. That's something that at that time, and I was there, it was predictable that the verdict was going to come out date certain, and so you could set up to be able to address whatever the issues were. But with natural disasters, it's a whole different ballgame. Nobody can afford to send people to stand around for what may happen. We have to respond as quickly as we can when the need arises.
Once again, I will say that I have one mission right now, and the two of us, and frankly, all of us here, have one mission, and that's to save lives, to save homes, and to save businesses. That is going to be my focus. Any issues, opinions, differences, whatever I might have will be dealt with in private. Thank you.
Mayor, and given that that is your mission, now that you know about this significant wind event that is coming, how are you preparing?
Well, I think you have an example here. Everybody standing here, we are absolutely doing everything we can to prepare, knowing what has happened over the last few days, we will be prepared. Thank you.